Hey love, welcome back to Commanding Life. If you're joining for the first time, we're in the middle of a month-long journey, one that's all about coming back to your inner authority, rebuilding what most of us were never taught to value, self-trust. If you didn't watch the last video, pause this and go back, because in that message I broke down the truth most people miss about why they feel stuck, the subtle ways we learn to abandon our inner knowing, and how to begin healing that. Today, we go deeper, because it's one thing to know that you don't fully trust yourself. It's another thing to change it. This is for the part of you that's tired of constantly questioning every decision, the part of you that just wants to feel clear, calm, and confident again. Because the truth is, second-guessing doesn't mean you're broken. It means your body is trying to stay safe. It means your mind has been conditioned to avoid rejection, failure, or disappointment. It means somewhere along the way you learned that choosing yourself wasn't safe. But that stops now. We're not here to stay in fear. We're here to lead ourselves through it. Let's start with the truth. Second-guessing is a symptom, not the root. You're not indecisive because you're flaky. You're indecisive because you were taught to value other people's approval more than your own clarity. And that programming, it's deep. You grew up being told what to do, how to act, how to succeed, what's right. Your choices were questioned, your intuition dismissed, your no ignored. So of course you hesitate now. That hesitation makes sense. But here's the thing, you don't want to stay there. Because every time you second-guess, you send a subtle signal to yourself, I don't trust you. And that pattern becomes exhausting. So how do you shift it? First, you start by slowing down the moment between instinct and override. That moment right after you feel something, before the spiral begins. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're invited to something, and your first feeling is no. Not because you don't care, not because you're lazy, but because your body contracts. You feel off. It's not aligned. But within 3 seconds, your mind jumps in. You should go. They'll think you're flaky. You always back out, just push through. And now you're back in the loop. The loop where you ignore your truth and perform instead. That loop is the second-guessing cycle, and it can only be broken when you pause and get curious instead of reactive. So next time you feel that happening, ask, what did I feel before I started arguing with myself? What's true beneath the fear of being judged? What would I choose if I trusted myself completely? Because that's the version of you we're calling forward. The version of you who doesn't delay her truth, who doesn't apologize for clarity, who doesn't wait for someone else to validate her yes or no. The most magnetic people you know? They're not the smartest, they're not the loudest, they're the clearest. And clarity is a direct result of self-trust. Now, I want to offer you 3 practices to begin breaking the second-guessing habit starting today. First, choose without over-explaining. The next time you decide something, don't justify it, don't shrink it, don't wrap it in disclaimers. Say, this is what feels right for me right now. That's enough. Second, act quickly on small, intuitive hits. If you think about someone, text them. If you feel like going for a walk, go. If you get a nudge to pause, pause. The more you honor those tiny signals, the more your intuition starts speaking louder. Third, build evidence that your choices are trustworthy. Write down moments when you followed your gut and it worked, moments when you didn't and you learned. Remind yourself, I can trust myself, even when it doesn't go perfectly. Let's pause. If you're watching this somewhere quiet, take a breath and put your hand over your heart. Now say, out loud or in your mind, I honor my clarity, I trust what I feel. I release the need to be right, I choose to be real. This is your shift. It might feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is growth. You're stretching into a version of yourself that no longer needs to ask for permission. And you don't have to do it all at once. This is a daily practice. One small decision at a time, one moment of listening deeper, one pause before defaulting to doubt. You were born with a voice. You were born with intuition. You were born with a connection to source that no one can take from you. Your job now? Remember it, reclaim it, practice it. You already know. Let that be your mantra this week. I already know. So, Here's what I want you to share in the comments. What's one area of your life where you're ready to stop second-guessing and start choosing with confidence? Business, boundaries, relationships, self-worth? Let's call it out together. Let's create that shift publicly. Type, "I choose with clarity." Because you're not here to beg for your life. You're here to command it. And when you trust yourself, everything begins to move. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's episode, because we're going to get even more grounded with 5 daily practices that will rebuild your self-trust from the inside out. Until then, remember, you don't have to be fearless to trust yourself. You just have to be willing to listen and lead from within. I'll see you next week where we will share 5 practices that build radical self-trust. That's it for this week's message. As always, many blessings for you.